Welcome to the first episode of Reading Between the Pipes, brought to you by Pastimes On The Mic. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, Twitter, and TikTok to stay up to date on everything hockey. This is Pastimes On The Mic, Reading Between the Pipes. It's a brand new segment we got here. We're doing things a little bit differently now. Guy, how we doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. It's hockey season, man. Mid-season right now. Seeing a lot of teams, fall off. Some teams really setting the tone for the playoffs. My Rangers will decline right now, but like I want to stay as far away from the President's Trophy as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, as a Bruins fan, you couldn't tell by the jersey. This goes to any fan out there, maybe except for the Blackhawks, but we all know they're not winning this year. You do not want the President's Trophy. Whatever you do, you do not want the President's Trophy. Fair warning. I believe that shit is truly cursed. But yeah, the NHL, man, it's a game of runs, dude. The Rangers look like the best team by far beginning of the year. On a little bit of a skid right now. They had a good win yesterday. But yeah, it's a game of runs. The Rangers, I think they're still an Eastern powerhouse by far. Might be still the favorite to come out of the East as well. But yeah, the Bruins looked kind of crappy a couple of weeks ago as well. They were losing against the Rangers. They got that one crazy win against the Islanders, but they were losing against a bunch of teams. And they're kind of heating up again now. Troy McAvoy's looking pretty good. I think he's got like 3 goals in his last 3 games or something. He's heating up. It's a game of runs, man. Carolina's sneaking up now. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about though. Yeah, and look, when it comes to teams, falling off or whatever, they really bank on these superstars, these older players, and to really get the show going here, to get started. A lot of veterans are getting hurt, man. The Red Wings, they trade for Patrick Kane. He got
Yeah,
hurt like a minute in to this game yesterday. Thankfully, it's not a hip injury. That was the big concern.
yeah, because
Ovechkin's deal is
it was a lower body injury.
yep,
He did fall awkward into the boards. I think he got hit multiple times too in that
yeah,
game.
yep.
It just kept like I guess it aggravated something. I don't know.
Yeah, and the Red Wings, the beginning of the year, they were looking really solid, and then they made that move for Kane to maybe put them over the top. Now they were kind of playing terrible outside of Patrick Kane. That defense and the goalie issue there in Detroit has just been terrible. And now you
Yeah.
lost your offensive catalyst in Patrick Kane. Granted, they're on a 2-game win streak. They're actually just a point behind the Maple Leafs, who have been struggling as well. So we'll see what happens with the Red Wings.
Yeah, they do have the number one wild card spot right now. Lightning are starting to heat up again. I had them as a potential sell team come trade deadline. They're not really engaged in talks with Stamkos, their captain, signing him. Um, they are the wild card 2 spots, so that spot's always up for grabs.
Yep.
Islanders are sitting out looking in right now, and they've been really turning up lately and as of late. And you got some other teams that are kind of disappointing right now with the Devils, Penguins, looking out from the 5 and 6 spot of the wild card.
Yeah.
Um, and another disappointing team too is the Sabres. I mean, I know they had a lot of hope on your boy Levi. He kind of didn't really catch fire early. They sent him down to the AHL.
Yeah.
Now he's back up, I'm pretty sure. But another player on that team that just can't escape injuries is Tage Thompson. I mean, another player that's just a star in the league when healthy, and he just I just activated him off my fantasy IR, and next game, like right after, he's getting an MRI the next morning. I don't know. I didn't really read too much into it because it's pretty frustrating as a fantasy owner of him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the ins and outs of his injury.
I'm reading updates right now. He's playing. I think he's back. Tage Thompson.
See, it's a roller coaster, man.
Yeah. No, but I did see he got hurt. He had what was it, like a wrist injury, right? Or was that what he had
He
earlier in
came
the year?
back from the wrist injury and then he got hurt again, but I guess the
Yeah.
MRI was negative or something.
Yeah. So he missed like 10 or so games with a wrist injury. He came back for a little bit. He scored 3 goals in between injuries, for Tage Thompson. The guy scored 47 goals last year. You kind of want a little more from that. He got hurt again. He's been back now. He has 5 goals since the new year. So I'll kind
That's
of,
good. That's good.
yeah, I'll give it to him. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. He's either hurt or he's balling out, so hopefully he kind of stays healthy now. And the Sabres are actually playing right now as we speak. I did not know that.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, they're
Oh, it is
playing.
Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, yeah. So we got some
So
early games.
yeah, some early games today.
Yeah, and Devon Levi, I still think I don't think the jury's out on him just yet. He's still young.
No, still
It's a
young.
young
Don't want. You
it's a
can't give up on a player like
it's
that.
yeah, it's a young team. It's a young team for the Sabres. I know they were in on the Kane sweepstakes. I'm sure that's kind of hurting them as well. Yeah, maybe it's just not their year yet. It's a stacked division. Like we said, we got the Bruins, the red hot Florida Panthers, the Maple Leafs who are kind of skidding down a little bit, the Red Wings who have a lot of promise with the Brincat and Kane, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can never count out the Tampa Bay Lightning, like you said.
Never.
The Canadians, we know we kind of knew what we're getting with them. They're kind of a couple years out. Same with the Sabres. And speaking of disappointing teams, the Ottawa Senators,
Yeah.
15-23. They got your boy Tarasenko, Claude Giroux. The guy's been an animal his whole career. Stutzel, they're
Kachuk.
yeah, Kachuk. Yeah, it's a stacked team. I guess goaltending, right, is their issue. I can't even.
You need to have some sort of like goaltending, like
Yeah, you need
you don't need a star-studded goaltender, but you need a goaltender that's going to get the job done.
exactly.
Because you can kind of get like carried out with a good offense and a great defense and then a decent goalie, but you
But
still need a somewhat competent goalie back there making saves because you're going to have those times where there's odd man rushes, or just need a goalie to make a spectacular save sometimes, because sometimes you get caught lacking, or you didn't get a change in time, and players are out there for an extended period of time. um, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, I really had them, the Senators, the Sabres, really, young teams that I thought were going to come up to the big leagues this year, and really be contenders. And, they're kind of looking like another team that's going to be a trade deadline piece, sellers.
yeah, because like I'm looking at their top five guys. Stutzel is having a point per game season, 38 points in 38 games. Claude Giroux, 35 points in 38 games. Drake Batherson, a very underrated player, 33 points in 38 games. And Kachuk, 31 in 38. And your boy Tarasenko, he's got a hefty 28 points on the season in 36 games. That's your fifth best player. That's phenomenal. But their goaltending has been the issue. I'm looking at it now. Their highest save percentage on that team is 889 by Anton Forsberg. He's 7-8 on the year. And his goals against average, he's given up 3.35 goals a game. And then Jonas Corpusalo, I might botch that, 3.7 goals allowed a game, and he only has an 884 save percentage. The goaltending is terrible, terrible this year in Ottawa. I'm not too sure how their defense is overall. But yeah, they clearly need a goalie. And honestly, they might just be a goalie away from being in the running here in the Atlantic Division.
I think they're also another team that can't escape the injury bug as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that guy Norris, Josh Norris, he's been on the injured list. He's injured right now with an upper body injury.
Yep.
I know Joseph, I had him in fantasy. I had to cut him. He was injury prone.
Yep.
Chabot, probably botching that. Um,
Thomas Chabot, yeah.
he was hit the injury bug this year. So I'm sure that, they probably would have been a little bit more of a you know hard hard team to play if they had the players that were injured. But sometimes you need that next man up mentality where players need to step up while players are hurt. The injuries can't always be an excuse, but they're definitely getting hit with the injury bug as well. And again, like you said, goaltending. If you don't have good goaltending, it's gonna bite you in the ass, man. It's really just it sucks because you see it in the playoffs too. These starting goalies get hurt, and then these backups come in and they catch fire and they're on fire and they're doing good. It's like good goaltending gets you a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, it really depends who's hot, who's not. And we saw that, last year. I hate to bring this up to you, but it was
Oh yeah,
Schmid. Schmid, was that his
Shmed.
name? Schmed,
Yeah.
yeah. Like no one heard. I haven't heard anything from him this year, and like he came up in the playoffs last year, and he's just balling out. I know.
The last thing you need is a goalie to catch fire in the playoffs, man, because
Yep.
you don't got really any tape on him. You don't know what his weaknesses are, and then he catches fire, and then it becomes a mental game, and now you're thinking too much on your shot. It's like it's just like who knew who Charlie Lindgren was this year for the Washington Capitals plays the Rangers on a back-to-back and looks like prime Henrik Lundqvist, man. Like it's
Yeah.
just like these goalies are just coming out of nowhere, and sometimes goalies just need a few starts in the playoffs, and then they go back to being backups the next year. Like it's just because they can't keep it consistent.
The one guy I think of this year who's kind of like that is Joey DeCord on the Kraken. Like I
Yeah,
have never heard this guy before. 13-5. He's got an awesome 923 save percentage. He's only allowing 2.29 goals allowed per game. Yeah, man, it's kind of these nobodies. I remember Jordan Bennington. Like
yeah.
it was the year they went to the Cup, 2019, and I remember like I picked up in fantasy too. And no one really knew who this guy was. He was around for a while, but he was a backup, kind of didn't really get a shot. And that year he came up. I'm pretty sure he led the league in like goals against average and save percentage. He just went nuts out of nowhere. And then the league eventually kind of figured him out a few years later. So it's kind of what happened.
He kind of just killed the Rangers on I think it was last week. He
Oh, Bennington.
he's actually not having a terrible year. He's got a
Yeah.
906 save percentage, 14 and 11,
He's very
but
solid.
he is a solid goalie, and he did just, I'm just bringing it up because you brought his name up, but he did just beat the Rangers in
Yeah.
42 shots against, 40 saves. Um, yeah, he had a great game against the Rangers. Like shots that you think are goals you're celebrating, and it's in the goalie's glove type of save.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Um, but yeah, I mean, a lot of players, man, a lot of players getting hurt. But some positives is like we said, can't count out the Lightning. Vasilevsky, after everyone thought he was done, he's on a little 3-game win streak right now and has the Lightning in playoff talks right now. Has come up closer to the deadline.
Yeah, it's a long season, man. I know that the Lightning were looking a little underwhelming at the beginning of the year, but hey, if there's no time to get hot, it's right now. Once that new year hits, all-star break, whatever. If you're, if you're in the mix and you're a hot team heading into the playoffs, that's huge. And I don't think any team in the league right now is more experienced in the playoffs than the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah,
They've won 2 cups in recent years. And, maybe that just might make Stamkos be like, hey, I do want to be here for life. I like winning. Winning's fun, like so.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll see with that. But yeah, the Lightning are hot, man. And that scares me as a Bruins fan because the Maple Leafs, yeah, they're skidding out a little bit right now. But come on, Mitch Marner,
yeah,
Austin Matthews, William Nylander, just send that mega deal. Great team. The Panthers have our number. Yeah, sure, we beat them in the regular season this year. It doesn't mean shit. We got beat in the playoffs. That's all that matters.
yeah.
So, yeah, and the Lightning and the Red Wings, add them in the mix. Oh, my God.
But you got teams in the Metro right now that like the Flyers. Can they keep it consistent? They have a veteran head coach in John Tortorella.
Yep.
Um, but can he get this young team together and keep it consistent and keep that spot or make the playoffs? Because you got teams that, like I said earlier, that are outside looking in. Islanders, Devils, Pittsburgh, Washington, just the 4 teams below the wild cards. Those are 4 teams that are very experienced teams when it comes to playoff hockey that know what it takes to get to the playoffs. Can the Flyers hold that spot and keep themselves in the playoff talks? Because, you know, third in the Metro is not bad. That's not bad for a young team. They just had their little trades with Jamie Drysdale, I believe they got in exchange for Cutter Gauthier.
Gauthier. Yeah.
Um, so, Flyers are, they were once when they had Claude Giroux. They were a very good team.
Yep.
With when it was, playoffs. Was it like 5 years ago? They
Yeah.
kind of fell off because players left. They went the rebuild route. But it's an interesting team that I did not have being in talks this late into the year.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And you know me, if there was one kid I was high on, it was Joel Farabee. That was pretty much
Yes.
about it. And he's having a pretty good year. 33 points
What
in
do you mean? What
43
about your
games.
boy, Carter Hart?
Yeah, my boy Carter Hart. I was getting into him as well. Yep. Joel Farabee and Carter Hart. Yeah, Carter Hart's having a solid season. He's a 911 save percentage. But yeah, I'm looking at the Flyers roster right now. Definitely meeting way above expectations. They don't have a player that's a point per game pace, which kind of, granted offense isn't everything. Like they got the goalie. They got some good young skaters. but I do feel like they might be missing. Same thing with the Islanders. I feel like
They're missing that
they're
star
missing that
player.
star player.
Like
Connect
Konechny and Barzell are like on the same wavelength as I get what you're
exactly,
saying.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like Connecty's good. He's having a great year. 39 points, 21 goals. Yeah,
But
he's
it's
having
not
a
like an
good year.
Austin Matthews. It's not like a
Exactly.
Connor McDavid.
Like
And granted, we can't all have that type of player on our team. But
yeah. And I don't know, call me crazy. Like looking at the standings with the Flyers, I kind of like the Islanders a little bit better top heavy wise. I think Bo Horvat, Barzell, Brock Nelson. I think that's a pretty, nice top the line, top two lines right there.
yeah,
I feel like it kind of, I'm not gonna say blows Philadelphia out of the water, but I
no, but they
feel
have
like the
experience for
Islanders,
sure.
yeah, I feel like the Islanders could maybe leap them
I think the
down the
most
line.
experienced person in Philadelphia is probably the coach and John
Yeah,
Tortorella.
which goes a long way. It
Oh yeah,
does.
for sure.
It goes a
I
long
mean,
way,
if you're
coaching.
not familiar with him, like he's straight to the point. Like
Exactly.
he benched Kevin Hayes, the best player on the team at the time,
Yep.
for being lazy, which I
Dude,
think is a valid point to bench someone, but
yeah. Dude, he
he's
was
not
bench.
scared to point the big guy alpha in the room and say, you know what, you're benched.
Yep. Dude, he benched Joel Farabee at one point in the year too. Like for
Yeah.
2 or 3 games. He was like riding pine. I was like, no way. But
You know what? Sometimes a player needs a reset.
that's it.
I need to step up. I'm not doing enough, or maybe I shouldn't. It gives to players time to sit back, recess, and maybe I need to do things a little differently.
Yeah. And I'll give their new acquisition, Jamie Drysdale, some credit though. 2 games, 2 points, +2. Yeah. I mean, this kid I was pretty high on back in Anaheim too. So I feel like it's a great acquisition for the Flyers. Kid's a good
I feel like we
defender.
always come back to this, offensive defenseman type player. Like they are really taking over the league, and people like Kyle McCarr, Adam Fox. Maybe they saw something in this kid Drysdale. Obviously, the kid Cutter didn't want to play for Philly.
Yeah.
Clearly said that. But it's really good to have that type of defenseman that can come down and create offense in
Exactly.
hockey. Like it's a very like you see player. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's plenty of players, but obviously the two that come to mind are Fox and Quinn Hughes. See, like I'm sitting here, but you need that type of player.
You
You
do.
need that type
Yeah.
of player on to be successful. I think that's a very very key player in this hockey league right now, this day and
Yeah.
age.
Like an offensive minded defenseman who can play somewhat solid defense. You got your Cale McCarrs, like you said, Quinn Hughes, Adam Foxes. It's just like, and I said this before on our previous program. It's like you're adding an extra skater, kind of like that's just more offense. Like you can't go wrong with that. It's like
Yeah,
offensively minded. It's like a six. It's like a
helps
five
so
on
much on the
three.
power
Yeah,
play.
yeah, exactly. Like McAvoy, Cale McCarr, all these guys. It really just adds a boost of offense. It's insane.
And if you can get a pairing, like the reason why I give Ryan Lindgren so much credit as a pairing with Adam Fox is because he just, complements him so well on the ice. Like
Yeah,
he knows if Fox is going up, like he knows like he's got to stay back, and that usually they start rotating back if you start to see like a odd man rush situation starting. But games where Adam Fox is paired with another defenseman because Ryan Lindgren is just a warrior, and that guy sometimes just gets hit, and I don't know how that guy gets up, but with him not on the ice with Fox because he's hurt, Rangers' record is negative. They're not good. They are not a
interesting.
good team with him on the ice. Without him, they need Ryan Lindgren and Adam Fox together on the ice to
Yeah.
be successful because
So
it's just like you saw it in the playoffs last year. Like they were struggling without Ryan Lindgren for a few games.
yeah. So speaking of the Rangers and the whole Lindgren and Fox duo, do you think this has any play in their recent skid? Because they are 1-4 in their last five. What's going on there?
I did say in the beginning of the year, like when you're at a high, you're at a high. Everything's going right, but like we say, hockey's a very fast-paced game.
Yeah,
Just like that, 180. You see yourself on a 4-game losing streak, playing a back-to-back against a division rival in Washington. You need to pull out a win. You got your starter in net and Igor. He really hasn't been having that great of a year.
yeah,
But I'm not going to sit here and be that slander guy, hater guy on Igor. He obviously didn't he's kind of decreased a little bit since he won his Vesna.
Yeah.
2 years past winning it, he has decreased in stats. But you can sit there and look at stats all day. That sometimes the team's just not playing for him. Like they're
Yeah.
just. But if I had to say why they're on a skid right now, it's a fast. Like I said, it's a fast-paced game. They're just in a slump right now. But I'm confident in Laviette to get the team together. And I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of veterans on that team. They're not the same team they were 2 years ago when they went to the Eastern Conference Final against the Lightning. That was a young team. They're pretty experienced now, I would say.
Yeah.
I think they got a few leaders in that room. And I will say this though, I think Igor is a little bit of a diva.
Interesting.
A little bit. But
Yeah.
again,
I've
I
heard
love
that.
Igor. I think he's a great goalie. His stats definitely don't show it this year, but he did get hurt and he was out for a little bit. And props to Quick for really stepping up and turning into his vintage self. Um, but I think they'll turn it around. Like I don't want anything to do with the President's Trophy, so if anything, I'm happy about this little skid they're on right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said in the beginning of the show, I think the Rangers are still definitely a Eastern powerhouse, and shit, they might even still be the favorite to come out of the East in the Stanley Cup. We'll see what happens,
I'd be a
but
little worried if they weren't playing with good teams. Like they're at least playing
yeah,
with good teams.
exactly.
So
That's
if
what
they
I'm
were, if
at.
and they're beating good teams too.
Yeah,
So I'm not worried. It's a seven. Best first to four wins in a series. If you're telling me, we got to go against a team and they got to beat us 4 times, good luck.
yeah. What moves do you think, if any, the Rangers might make? We'll get into some like trade candidates. Do you think any players have your eyes set on that the Rangers could possibly use at the deadline?
I definitely think they need a center on the third line and a top six winger for sure.
Yeah,
Because they've had a rotation at the top six of Wheeler, and when they were at a high, everyone liked Wheeler, but his flaws were kind of showing. But you didn't really say anything because they were winning, so you're just like whatever they're doing is working. But now they're kind of slumping, and Wheeler's really really slow. I'm like no BS. He's a slow skater. I think he's a fourth liner at best now. He obviously had a great career in Winnipeg, but
yeah.
I definitely think they need a top six winger and a third line center.
Any names come to mind? I know you've been on Pastimes on the mic a lot. You would say Tarasenko. Is that still a
I would take
guy on the radar?
Tarasenko for sure. I would take Tarasenko. I would, if the Wild continued to struggle, I would like a reunion with Zuccarello.
That would be sick.
I'm trying to think of other players. Um, because you got to think they're going to be playing on a line with like Kreider and Zibanejad. So they already have their chemistry. You
Yeah,
kind of just need a guy to fill in that role to just do his job,
yeah.
not be some starter stud. Because you got two studs in Zibanejad and Kreider.
Just be a playmaker. Be a
Exactly.
playmaker. Be a distributor. Yeah,
So I mean, I'm not, and I would love Tarasenko. I wanted him back when he was a free agent, but the money just wasn't there. But yeah, I would. We got Kako back, but I think he's gonna stay on the third line.
yeah,
I don't know. And you got Hedel as a center. The two players that got hurt, Kako and Hedel, are the two things I'm saying we need. We got Kako back, but I think he's a third line winger, and I don't know. I don't think Hedel's coming back this year.
yeah,
He's had a few concussions early in his career. He literally left the United States. He went back to the Czech Republic to literally train,
yeah,
get
yeah.
his mind right. So I think he's done.
Yeah,
So why not use that money on another player?
exactly.
I definitely think the Rangers will make a trade for
Yeah,
sure.
I think so too. And
One or two.
Tarasenko makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense,
and
I
like
guess.
there it does. It makes too much sense. They're not winning, and he signed a 1-year deal intentionally because if they weren't playoff contenders, he wanted to get traded to a playoff team. Um, I think a lot of people are going to be in on him though because he's had that cup experience, veteran experience. I said the Rangers would. The Islanders have had ties to him. past previously in the years. But he has that relationship already with the Rangers, so I don't know why he wouldn't want to come back. Like you said, it just makes too much sense.
Yeah. I'm also looking at the for sellers. I'm looking at the San Jose Sharks right now. I thought they had some old guys
Declare
that they got Duclair, he's 28, they can maybe ship him off.
Is it Hurdle?
Hurdle, yeah, he's got 30 points on the year. He's a center. He might be a answer for you guys. I don't think
That's
he'd
not
be
a bad.
that.
I think his money's probably a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how much they pay. Let's see his salary for the year. He's getting
The thing
paid.
is with the Rangers that if you make a trade, you need another team to take like 50% of the
Yeah,
money.
he's making 7.5 million this year. I
Yeah,
didn't know he was
see,
gonna
the
be that
Rangers are
much.
going to need someone to take 50% of
Yeah,
that because they're not going to be able to. I think Hedo's making 2 or 3 million.
yeah.
So, and not all of it's available. So,
Where is he even still playing? This
who?
I'm brain farting his name right now. I'll get it right now. It's Logan Couture. Where's Logan Couture at?
I
Is
have
he
no
playing?
idea.
Logan Couture. Did he retire? He's only 34 years old. And he had 67 points last year, 27 goals, 40 assists. Is he
Let's see,
hurt?
I'll
Did I miss
search it.
this? Logan Couture.
Logan. How do you spell his last name? Oh, here he is. No, he's
Steve.
on the Sharks. He's injured.
He's injured now. Okay.
Logan Couture not ready to return an hour ago.
Wow. He was
Yeah, I
good.
don't think he's played. I don't think he's played yet this year.
Yeah, he's not played yet this year. He was fantastic the last couple of years in the post, Joe Thornton era of the San Jose Sharks. He's making $8 million. That's a lot of money in hockey.
Well, I think that's enough about the Rangers. How do you feel about your Bruins? What do you think their potential? I know we've said in the past, center,
Yeah.
center, center.
It's still center. Honestly, like I would take because I love Charlie Coyle. I love Charlie Coyle and I love Pavel
I feel like he's been
Zacha
a
to
big,
death.
big, big piece that stepped up this year for you
He
guys.
he has been. He has been. I feel like, and it could even be a center too on the second line. I just feel like we need another strong center to help distribute out a little bit here. Like you got Marchand, Pastrnak, Charlie Coyle on that first line. It's a beautiful line. DeBrusque,
Arguably, probably up there with like best line in the
yeah,
top 5 maybe.
yeah. And DeBrusque, he shows his offense here and there. He's been good. I feel like, and Dennis is gonna hate me, but that kid on the Devils, man, Dawson Mercer. I feel
Yeah,
like cheap. He's being way underutilized on the Devils right now.
undervalued.
Yeah, it's like if I'm the Devils, depending on what they need, I think what they need defense, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't think they're getting
hey,
Dougie back until like April.
yeah. So like, if I'm the Devils, I'm thinking we have plenty of centers with talent. Dawson Mercer's a young kid. He's got plenty of upside. The
They need a
Bruins got
goalie.
they need a goalie. The Bruins also got defense to spare. It could be a win now trade for both teams. It makes
That's
sense.
what it happens come trade deadline. Like a lot of players, a lot of teams make win now moves
Exactly.
and deal with the repercussions later and figure out. That's just a part of being a good GM. Like worry about it now. Make win now moves now. Worry about later. And figure out what you got to do later.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and it's not a small amount of time whatsoever, but Dawson Mercer's averaging 17 minutes on ice. I feel like he could easily have so much more, on the
Isn't that
Bruins.
weird? The Bruins are playing the Devils right now.
Yeah. So, hopefully the GMs are talking behind the scenes, maybe
Yeah.
shaking some hands. But yeah, I want Dawson Mercer. I feel like they should go maybe like a cheaper route for a depth center because, like you said, Charlie Coyle has stepped up this year. I would just like that nice center number 2 or 3 just to really fill out the Bruins, lines here and there. But yeah, I can't complain too much. Defense is good. Pastrnak is Pastrnak. First line's fantastic. It's a deep team. Morgan Geekie has showed up great this year.
Yeah, I picked him up in fantasy.
James Van Riemsdyk has been fantastic as well. Trent Frederick leading that fourth line.
I'm really starting to think it's just the Bruins system now. Like it's just it's very easy for players to come in and step up and be that next star, because you did lose two stars in the past 2 years.
Yep. We lost. I would consider Bertuzzi and Orlov stars, but those guys were huge acquisitions. Taylor Hall, if you want to consider him a star, we lost him. Krejci, Bergeron. Those were our.
Yeah, I was
Those
thinking
were
more
our.
Krejci and
Yeah, no,
Bergeron.
those two. Like I said, man, that's two of our all-time centers right there that we've lost. And Zaka and
Means a
Coyle have
lot to
been
the
great.
organization type of players, you know. Like it hurts. It
Exactly.
hurts losing them. Like when the Rangers traded for, I got a funny story. When I think I was in 8th grade. I got a Callahan jersey for Christmas. Or
Oh
no, my
God,
birthday. My birthday.
you got
And my
traded to the Lightning,
birthday
right?
always falls near the trade deadline or February. End of February is my birthday. Um, so I got one, and my dad got me an Islander. I mean, not an Islanders, a Callahan jersey and tickets to go to a game. And it was the year that the Rangers traded Callahan for Marty St. Louis.
I remember that.
This is when they went to the Cup in 2014.
Yep, I remember that.
So I'm wearing my
Yeah,
Callahan jersey to school because I'm going to the game that night, and I get the news on my phone. And 8th grade me is like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I just
yeah.
got this guy's jersey, the captain,
He was the captain. Yeah, man. Oh my God.
and we trade him from again like at eighth grade me doesn't give a fuck who Martin St. Louis was. I was a Rangers fan. I didn't care. I didn't care
Yeah,
then. Like if I got the news now, it'd be a little different. Like at least I can go look who the player was.
at least you would know the
I
move
didn't give
made
a fuck who
sense.
Martin St.
Yeah.
Louis was that when that news dropped.
Yep.
But yeah, I took my jersey off and I threw it. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck.
Yeah. I remember at first a lot of Ranger fans were questionable about that trade. They're like, the captain, what? Martin
And you're
St. Louis.
making a push for the cup.
Yeah,
You
yep,
know, like you're trying to trade your captain.
yep. Crazy.
I don't
That was a
know.
crazy trade. And Martin St. Louis, didn't he ball out in the playoffs though that year for you
Yeah,
guys?
he came here and he did, bring us to a cup, and he really was a good player. Not that
Yeah.
again, 8th grade me, I didn't give a fuck who it was.
Yeah, you're just like, what? The captain?
Yeah,
It's kind of like being a casual Yankee fan, like you're a kid. It's
yeah,
like it's like trading like Derek Jeter. It's like, what? Derek Jeter? Like
yeah,
he's the captain. He must be good. Yeah. Like granted, he was Hall of Famer amazing, but you know what I mean. It's
yeah.
like
I
it's
didn't.
like what the
I'm
fuck?
not. I wasn't like. I was obviously a Ranger fan then. Like I grew up going to games, but like then I wasn't as into it as I am now, where I'm
It
looking up stats of players and all that
yeah.
stuff.
It would be like if a seventh grader was a big Trouba fan and they traded away Trouba for like I don't know
Yeah,
something to win now, like a great trade. Like the Rangers won the trade, whatever. But it's like we trade away Trouba, he's the captain, like stuff
you
like
bring
that.
up Trouba. I was a big advocate for Kreider being the next captain,
Yeah, I remember
and
that. I remember that. Yeah.
I really thought it was like 75% him and 25% Zibanejad. Like one of those two are going to be it. And I thought you almost had to give it to Kreider because he was the longest tenured Ranger on that team.
Yeah.
Still is, obviously. I had no idea it was going to be true, but I saw people talking about it,
Yeah.
and I was like, why is this even like catching light? Like, what is this even like? What are you even talking about? Like, he traded for him like 3 years ago. What do you mean? Like, why are you even talking about it? And then the news drops, and he's the captain. I see them posted on Instagram. You see the C on the jersey, and it goes down. And it's number 8. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah.
I was so shocked. I still believe, Kreider should be the captain.
I agree as a
Um,
Bruins fan.
but Trouba's really stepped up this year. I think last year he was under a lot of pressure for sure. The state of New York, just being the captain of any team, I think is tough.
Oh yeah.
I think New York is probably one of, if not the toughest place to play. But this year he's really came into a certain type of player, and he's really taken over that type of player. Physical player, blocking shots. I think he leads or is tied for blocked shots for a defenseman.
Yeah.
In the NHL. So it's really he's growing on me, but I still will say I would have chosen Kreider.
Yeah. Like I said, as a Bruins fan, I definitely agree with the Kreider pick. He's been there since like what, 2010, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And they say he's sometimes an issue in the locker room, but I mean, like, no offense to you, but Marchand is a pest. So like,
Oh
if
yeah.
you can make someone like that a captain, I
Yeah.
don't see why you can't make someone like Kreider a captain. Like
Yeah.
and all the players he supposedly gotten into it with aren't on the team anymore.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
like, if you weren't gonna make him the captain, why wouldn't you have just gotten rid of him?
Yeah.
Like, why'd you get rid of the other guys? Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah,
for
Bob.
example. Like,
If anyone, he's the scumbag probably in any situation,
oh yeah,
most
100%.
likely.
I think he said something to like Gorgiev and punched him or
Yeah,
something. I'm not too familiar with the story. I've just heard bits and pieces of it. I could be totally like playing telephone right now, but like
yeah,
apparently he said something to Gorgiev when he was the backup and like hit him, and then apparently Kreider got into his face and like hit him. I don't know. So
interesting. Yeah,
I would have to
uh,
look it up. I don't know exactly what the story is.
yeah. So looking at throughout the rest of the league, though, doesn't have to be to the Bruins or the Rangers. But do we think anybody else gets traded? Any superstar, stars, solid players? Do you think it's on the move? Some of the last place teams, like I said, are the Sharks, the Ducks, Flames are kind of underwhelming again this season.
Not a last place team, but I thought that if, and it's still a possibility because it is still not even the All Star break.
Yeah,
Um, Stamkos, I thought that, and I still think it is a name to watch at the trade deadline because a lot of that team is gone. They do still have Point, Stamkos, Kucherov, Vasilevsky, but consistency is a thing, and they've been pretty inconsistent this year. Um, like I said, they are on a 3-game win streak with Vasilevsky, but if they don't continue to win, they're gonna fall out. Um, and I think they could see Stamkos get traded if again they don't keep winning.
exactly. Yeah, they would need to, really, not that they haven't been, but really kick into high gear now, be arguably the best team in the Atlantic for the rest of the way. And then they'll probably risk, keeping Stamkos. And then now it's up to him in free agency over the summer. So, like I
Yeah,
said, we'll see what happens when it comes to the All Star break. But yeah, definitely a name to keep an eye on, though, Steven Stamkos.
Bruins need a
I agree.
center.
I know. You're telling me, man. I want it to happen so bad. I would love him,
That's my
Dawson
top
Mercer.
spot for someone like that. Them are the
Yeah,
Islanders.
makes sense. It makes total
Bruins are
sense.
the Islanders. I really just I see Stamkos going to one of those two teams if they continue to struggle.
I hope
But
so.
again, they're a championship team, so they know what it takes to flip it into gear.
Yeah, I feel like, and this might be Captain Obvious speaking here. I feel like if they're in it by the All Star break, I think they'll hold on to him if they're
Yeah.
in a spot. But yeah, I mean, we'll see though. Crazy things have happened. I would love Stammer on the Bruins, one of my favorite players of all time. It was him, Bergeron, and Kane growing up. I was like, these guys are sick. Having him on the Bruins would be awesome.
Yeah, how
You
do you
see
think I
what
felt when I saw Tarasenko or Kane on the Rangers?
right? Ugh,
It's just such a
so sick.
it's like that's why I always say like I'll never be against going after someone like that and getting someone like that.
Yeah, even for a short
Generational
period of
player.
time.
I mean, like he's like one of the best players of all time between the
Yeah,
two, Stamkos and Kane and Tarasenko.
exactly. So, and speaking of Tarasenko, kind of going back to the centers now. I know we talked about them earlier, dude. I mean, they're 15 and 23, old
I
team.
think
I
they're
mean,
110% sellers come the deadline. Like
yeah,
I just don't. I mean, have we seen the Blues come back? But I see them being sellers.
yeah, man. I mean, if you look at the squad, I think Tarasenko and Giroux are probably gone.
Yeah, two older guys that probably want to win now, late in
Yep.
their career, and probably want to go to another team.
Like they're probably gonna hang on to Stutzel. He's only 22. They're probably gonna keep him. Batherson's
Kachuk.
only Kachuk. They're gonna keep. He's only 24. Batherson's 25. So like, it's kind of like you're not really in the center's point of view. You're not really losing too much. Like, yeah, it sucks to lose Tarasenko and Giroux, but like, you're still a young team. You still got plenty of time to figure it out.
And you got those veterans to come in and give them that veteran experience. Like maybe the full plan was to get a playoff run and get that experience in with those young guys, but not everything fully unfolds into that plan. But
Yep.
they got those older guys there that gave them those veteran experiences.
Yeah, it is a really young team, dude. Like they got Kubelik still. I mean, he could get traded as well, but Joshua Norris, like you said, only 24. They inked in Scheiter in 25. He's probably one of the best defensemen in the league. So they got time. They got time, and you can get more picks now. You can get more prospects. So for the Senators, it's really not a bad bargain. So I agree with you. They're definitely sellers
And I'm
by.
sure Ottawa is an attractive place to play. I mean,
Oh yeah,
why would someone like Tarasenko or Claude Giroux want to go there? Like
exactly.
I'm sure there's and having a Kachuk brother on your team. I mean, you can speak. You know how much of like a difference that is having that type
Yeah,
of player on the team. Um,
exactly.
Like I hate when the Rangers are playing against a team like that, and you got to deal with a player, and they're good too. Like they're
Yeah,
not just annoying like pests on the ice. Like they're good on offense as
yeah,
well.
exactly. Just get into your head, man.
Maybe they go after a goalie. You
Yeah,
know, I don't know. It's like there's a lot of teams that are just one piece away from really being that type of contender.
exactly. Yeah. Claude Giroux is a center technically, so I mean, Giroux on the Bruins, I would not mind at
I
all.
think players late in their career will switch positions if they want to, really make a run.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Giroux, I would not be
I,
against the Bruins.
another team I was saying earlier, Zuccarello possibly being a trade piece. The Wild, they're another team that are really just
That's a great pick. Yeah, the Wild.
not figuring it out. They're not. They're 17, 20, and 5, 39 points. On a 4-game losing streak right now.
Yep.
Um, I think they're going to be sellers come the deadline. They have their two top players, Kaprizov, who's been injured, is their highest points player, and Zuccarello, who
Zuccarello
was
is
also injured.
definitely a huge trade candidate, and like you said, a Rangers reunion that would be, I think, probably the best spot for him. To be honest.
Yeah, they've just been disappointing this year. I just to say the least,
Yeah,
really.
especially Kaprizov, man. You know how I feel about this kid. I think he's an animal. Maybe the injuries are still lingering a little bit, but
Yeah,
35 games.
he's still. I think he just came back yesterday.
Yeah. So he's just under a point per game pace. We all know he can be better than that. This guy can get you 40 plus goals, 60 plus
Oh
assists.
yeah, he's a great player.
He's an animal. Yeah, Zuccarello's
26
36
years
years
old.
old. I think
Yeah,
Zuccarello's definitely got to get traded.
I think Zuccarello's looking for a, you know, win right now type of player, like we were saying with Tarasenko and Giroux. I think that's the type of player he wants to go somewhere and win.
Yeah.
And he did. They had their runs with Minnesota, um, but another team where goaltending is just inconsistent. Both goalies have under a 9 save percentage,
Yeah.
averaging 3.1 goals against. So they're just not really helping out the goalies there. Because Fleury's no slump. Like
Yeah.
he's obviously a good goalie. But they do have a young team too as well. Boldy's
Yeah.
good.
Boldy's, yep, he's got a lot of upside.
Rossi,
Yep.
Marco Rossi. Ryan Hartman's a goal scorer. I mean, he's not young, but they have
He's got
Maroon.
upside.
I hate Pat Maroon.
Me too, but I feel like I was just gonna bring him up. Pat Maroon, he's a pest, man, but he could easily get traded at the deadline as well.
Yeah, he's a
That,
good like fourth line player,
yeah, he could be good for a playoff team.
maybe even a third line player. What position is he?
He's
Left wing.
left wing. Yeah. They also got
Um,
Zook, Pat Maroon. I just saw somebody else that I was thinking of. Marcus Johansson. Yeah, Johansson gets to get traded. 33 years old, center. I feel like that's honestly such a Bruins move is getting Marcus Johansson. I could so see
oh,
it
this is a good trade potential.
for a
Um,
Bruin.
Jason Zucker, left wing on the Coyotes. Played
Oh
for
yeah,
the Penguins. I don't know how many years he signed. I'm pretty sure he just signed there this offseason, so I don't know if he plans on leaving, but they might consider trading someone like that. He's a good player.
yeah,
I remember he scored a lot against the Rangers in the playoffs.
yeah. Jason Zucker. Yeah.
31 years old.
So, yeah. Travis Boyd. Who's their goalies this year? And I know that one kid's doing good. Connor Ingram. Yeah, Connor Ingram's doing pretty good this year. So
I
they
don't
got
even
a
know
nice
how to say it.
goalie.
I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the guy's name. The
Oh,
backup.
Karel Velmelka.
Yeah,
Velmelka. Yeah.
they have a young team too. Clayton Keller, small. No,
Yeah.
small isn't young. Jersey. Cooley.
Kraus is nice. Yeah, Cooley. Cooley's gonna be a really good player down the line. Yeah.
There's a lot of potential players that could get traded. I've seen a lot of Zegras possibly getting traded from the Ducks.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
Saying
Zegras
the
would be.
Islanders could be interested in him. Um,
He might be the piece for the Islanders. He might be
well,
that piece.
you said it last show.
Yep.
They need a young stud and he's not.
No,
You said in their prime, but he's not in his prime yet.
but
But
he's like
he's another one of those young players
he
that could
eventually
really.
will be. He's signed to an extension, dude. Like whatever. Like
He brings that flashiness too. He's kind of changing the game in the NHL. First player in the NHL since I don't know who to do the Michigan. You haven't really seen that before. Pass it over the net like a lacrosse ball, and the guy hit it in.
yeah,
So I think that's exactly what the Islanders need because, like you said, again, they're just a boring team, but they get the job done.
exactly.
He's kind of more outside, does something different, a little different, and maybe the Islanders are lacking that. Like they're not that flashy, but again, they're getting the job done. But I think they need someone like that. I think Zegras is the player to go to the Islanders.
Yeah, that would be insane, and I could so see that would be the piece. I'm telling you, I think he's the highest upside of any current Islander. He's young. Let him grow with Horvat, Barzell, Brock Nelson, and dude, that could he could develop into a nasty player, franchise
Yeah,
guy.
and again, Anaheim's gonna want to have to move on from him. Like I don't know why you would want to move on from a guy like that, but
Yeah,
maybe the return helps them.
yep,
I don't really know who's in the Islanders system that's like up and coming. I don't like. I only really follow the Rangers
yeah,
minors, so I don't know who they would possibly give up. I don't know if the Islanders have picks, but the Islanders are kind of old, so I feel like they need like that young player like to have something to hold on to for the future.
and just build around. Yeah, see what happens.
You've
Anyone
seen like
else
um
across the league? I know we talked the Sharks just before.
I'm looking at just bottom league
Yeah,
rosters.
bottom of the barrel here.
Um, Let me see.
There's no shot Johnny Hockey gets traded, right, on the Blue Jackets. They've been horrible. With him and Line, they can't get healthy and they can't figure it out together.
It sucks because that team has like they have potential, but like
They
they
do.
I feel like they like you said they've just been like stuck in the mud. Like they
Yeah.
just nothing can really get going there. Like when they start to get traction, someone gets hurt. Um, I mean Johnny Hockey's their best player with 26 points. Like he's really fell off since he's went there.
Yeah.
Um, but they have that rookie Adam Fatili. I don't know how to say
Yeah.
his last name. Um, who's their captain? Boone Jenner.
Yeah. Boone Jenner.
They have this kid Dmitry Vorot. I don't know these
Let me
guys.
see. It's those have Marchenko. I like to. Marchenko's good.
Yeah, I mean, they maybe it's coaching there. I don't know, but how the hell does Line only have 9 points?
He has been what's his name? Tage Thompson, but on steroids. When it comes to the IR, he's just on and off the IR all year long.
Like a player like that really just had everything going for them and like just sucks now.
And he also got benched too for a little bit too, I think.
Like he was really like supposed to be like the stud of the league.
Dude,
Just fell off.
I would
You're one of them who has had
I
high
was
hopes for him.
I was such a Line A believer, and at first it was going good. 2017, 2018. He only had 70 points and 64 points, but like 36 goals, 44 goals. He's not really a setup guy. I was expecting this guy, maybe score 50, 60 goals a year, kind of what Austin Matthews is doing right now. That's kind of like what I compared him to. But yeah, dude, since 2018, he has not really. Granted, he gets injured every year. He's hurt so much. I heard he's kind of like, not the most locker room friendly guy either as well. He's kind of like a little bit of a diva, I've heard. Just sucks, man. He does have the goal scoring talent. And now injuries are piling up. It's been, what, 6 years since we've really seen a good season from him? I
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean in
think.
2017, 2018 he had 44 goals and he played a
Yeah.
full year.
Yep.
70 points. So he has it.
He has it. He has the
It's just a
talent.
matter of he could stay on the ice.
Yep.
He went to this can't be right. He didn't go to Toronto.
Hell.
Line A.
He never played for Toronto.
Yeah, I was looking at his career stats and it says Winnipeg for 16 to 20. It says Toronto, but I don't
Oh,
believe that.
are you on Hockey Reference?
Yeah.
That means total.
Oh,
TOT's
makes
total.
sense.
So it's his totals from Winnipeg and Columbus that year.
Okay. And then he went to Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oops.
so it's just repeating. It's putting Winnipeg and Columbus together in
He almost
2020.
has 500 games under his belt, so
Yeah,
it might be starting to look south for him.
yeah,
You know,
it might just be this is him.
only 25 years old. I mean, there's a lot of potential still, I would say.
Yeah,
But I mean, being the former second overall pick, it sucks, because you want these players to turn out and be something. Like I've had this conversation multiple times about Lafreniere. Will he turn that corner? He's had flashes this year. Put him on a line with Panarin. Panarin's having a career year. Um, and still, he scored his first goal in 9 games yesterday. So he still has his slumps. Um, but I don't know. You got to think someone like Line is gonna eventually figure it out. You just gotta hope. But
yeah.
maybe he did switch teams. We say he needs a fresh start, just go to a new team. But I mean that team's clearly not winning. So
Yep.
maybe he needs to go to another
Another
team.
another team. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he'll
Well
get
said.
traded at the deadline. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just gotta hope like his
De-
injury.
Depending on his price, like I wouldn't mind if like the Bruins took a shot at him, but like, you put him on a third line or something, just so like, hey,
Yeah, I mean they did it with Hall.
yeah, see what you can do. Give him like I don't know a second round
I'm
pick
sure
if
if
that.
he went to a team that's very good and took a lot of pressure off his shoulders, he would feel comfortable just doing his thing.
Like I don't know what his contract is like.
They
I
don't
can't.
expect much from a third line guy.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he's locked in though for a while. Let's see how long. I'm just curious how many years he has under his belt in
Well, he probably
Columbus.
cashed out when he had his 70-point season.
4 year, $34 million deal with the Blue Jackets. So wait, is he actually a free agent soon?
I mean, if that's the case, then that's perfect for him. Because I would get the fuck out of Columbus.
Yeah, nothing good happens in Columbus.
They don't have goalies either. We're talking about all these teams that suck. They have no goalies.
That's a team that needs to what's it called? Really relocate. I don't know why this website's not working.
Why would Johnny Hockey go there? Like, I mean, he
Yeah,
is old. He's older now. I mean, 30 is not that old for the NHL, but I'll never forget. We had 3 options on the waiver, and I chose fucking Johnny Hockey, and you got Verhage.
yeah. But I think Johnny Hockey is the best. What's it called? Outlook for a while. He's eventually gonna have another monster season again.
I
We'll
hope.
see. So yeah, Line is a free agent in 2026, which is not too far away from now. So I mean, like, if Columbus is really done with his shit and they're like, "Hey, we'll take the L on it. We'll eat some of the money. This kid can't stay healthy. He's just not a good locker room guy." The Bruins or like some other team maybe took a chance at him, give him like a pick or something like that, a prospect. Put him on the third line. Maybe he
Let me
just see what happens. But
player stats. 9 points. How many games has he played this year?
18.
So 18 games played, 9 points.
That's ugly.
Averaging half a point a game.
Pretty much.
Time on ice is 15 minutes. Do we know what line? Minus 10 plus minus.
He's having a talk shit, yeah. Let's see the Blue Jackets lines. I know he got benched, so like he was like riding like the fourth line or third line at one point as like
I just
punishment.
remember when he was on the fucking
Jets, bro.
I know, and he was killing it. Jets are killing it now. Jets
Even
are the
without
second
Kyle
best
Connor
team in the
too.
team.
Is he? I think he's still hurt.
Who? Kyle Connor? He is.
Him and Line. Line's hurt too. Let's say the Columbus Blue Jackets current lines as of right now. You have Cole Sillinger at center, Gaudreau on your left wing, Igor Chinakhov at right wing. You got Kent Johnson, who's pretty solid. Adam Fantilli, second center. Just put Fantilli and Gaudreau on the same line at this point. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Emil Bemstrom. I don't know who that is. This guy's pretty good. Jack Roslovic. He's good. He's a solid player. He's the third center. Marchenko, who I think Marchenko should get bumped up a little bit at this point in the season. I think he's super talented. Dmitry Voronkov.
He's good. I picked him up in fantasy.
This kid I thought was going to be really good too. Alexandre Teixeira. That kid had some upside, but I guess he's on the fourth line now. Sean Corrali. Wasn't he? He was a Bruin, I think. Sean Corrali, yeah, he was a Bruin.
Who's their defense?
Their defensive pairings are Damon Severson, solid. Adam Boquist, Ivan Provorov, he used to be a Flyer. Andrew Peak, Jake Bean. I don't know who the fuck these guys are.
Rangers lost to them. I think the second game of the year they lost to the Blue Jackets.
And Eric Goodbronson. Yeah, man, their defense sucks, dude. If Damon Severson's your best defenseman, Jesus Christ. No disrespect to Damon Severson, but Jesus. Their goalies, Spencer Martin, Elvis Merzlikins.
Yeah.
Zach Werenski's a solid player. He's out with COVID. Boone Jenner's usually solid. Yeah, this team just sucks, dude. This is just like dude, this team sucks, bro. Like I feel like the only guy who can sell a jersey is maybe Gaudreau. That's about it.
Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, I'm no coach. I'm no hockey. I don't know shit. But like I would get Gaudreau, Fantilli, and Marchenko on the same line. Just get your three best players on the line. See how they do. Fuck it. Who cares? Make it like exciting.
Yeah. I mean,
especially Fantilli. This kid, I think this kid's gonna be really good. But
who could? Yeah, I think come deadline, I think players would look. I think Line, they could probably try and flip him.
Yeah, because like he's a right wing, dude. I think at this point, just let Marchenko run the show at right wing, dude.
Oilers are on a 10-game win streak.
Yeah, Oilers. They're not selling though. Oilers are fucking hot, dude.
I saw there's a lot of teams on win streaks. Canucks on a 5. Kings are on an 8-game losing streak.
Oof.
Seattle's on a 9-game win streak. Oilers on a 10-game win streak. Wow.
Kraken 9 games. Wow. Jeez.
Wow. And guess who the Kraken play next?
Who they play next?
Rangers.
Oh shit. You
Tomorrow
got that
night,
streak, man. Oh boy.
Tomorrow night at the Garden, 7 p.m.
Joey DeCord, man, that kid's good.
It's gonna be probably Igor in net.
See what they can do. Well, anything else you want to discuss, or?
No, I think we covered all the names that could possibly be traded come deadline. I say 2 big names to look out for: Stamkos if the Lightning don't continue their winning ways, and probably Zuccarello, Tarasenko.
Yeah, I definitely agree with those. And
Tarasenko and Zuccarello are definitely going to be traded,
yeah,
I think come deadline.
Yeah, and to tack on to what you said, I'd say Giroux and like hopefully Dawson Mercer. Hopefully, he gets straight to a team that can really use him. The Devils get some defense or goaltending back. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this was just another episode of, our first episode of Reading Between the Pipes, brought to you by Pastimes on the Mic. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, Twitter, and TikTok. And if you got a question, send us the email. Here's the Gmail below. Send us a hockey question. Who do you think gets traded? Who goes where? Any fantasy hockey questions? We'll be glad to provide that to you here. This was Reading Between the Pipes. Thank you for tuning in. We usually air on Mondays, so tune in. This was Pastimes on the Mic, Reading Between the Pipes. Thank you, everybody.